mean, who doesn't love a fantastic audio experience? Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always guys, I am Andrew, and today we are doing my top 10 audiobook immersion style kind of list. This is the list of books that I think are not only enhanced by the audio performance that the narrator brings to the book, but also they're fantastic books that I think you will enjoy. But before we get into this list, make sure you're doing all the YouTube stuff. You know, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you can get regular updates for when I put out new content. And make sure to check the description box down below for the link to the Wizardly Duo Discord. Now that said, guys, let's jump right on into this list with the only one of these I don't own physically. And that's because, I mean, this book / series was designed almost meant to be on audio, and this is a game lit series. This is Dungeon Crawler Carl, narrated by the amazing Jeff Hayes, and Jeff does this just in-depth performance. Each character gets their own sort of inflection, their own sort of personality. He injects so much attitude and charisma and just frankly humor into the story with his inflection. I mean, the AI in this series is creepy as all get out, but then like he does the Princess Donut voice, very high pitched and just kind of arrogant and just, you know, just full of herself. Meanwhile, he does Carl in this gruff sort of angry, always angry voice, and he does the softer female voices. Certain characters get multiple different voices due to a mechanic within the story, but he still manages to make those characters sound like themselves, even though he's doing a different voice. If you want to know how that mechanic works, you have to read the series. So far, there are 5 books out in Matt Denneman's Dungeon Crawler Carl, but this one is awesome on audio. Next up, I've only done the first book in the Matthew Corbett series, but if you know what that is Speaks the Nightbird by Robert McCammon. Now, this is a huge, thick book, which is why I think immersion reading is great for this series. Queen of Bedlam Book 2 is also massive, which I'm getting ready to read that in about a month or two. This one is narrated by, hopefully I get this right, Edoardo Ballerini, I believe is how that is pronounced. And he just brings such grace and such inflection that like he can do that colonial American kind of twang and make it believable. He brings so much gravitas to the story. And again, he also, I think the sign of a great narrator is when they do different voices for all the characters. They make it feel like a full cast experience, even though it's only one person in that booth. And I think that is amazing. And Edoardo Ballerini delivers an amazing performance in the Matthew Corbett series. So yes, this is my second recommendation. All right, next up, we have got Stephen Pacey, of course, doing First Law by Joe Abercrombie. This is not a surprise to anybody, but I mean, his Sandan Galacta, I think this is where Pacey really shines, is Galacta is just, he does this lisp, and the voice he does makes it sound like he's missing teeth in his mouth, and yet, he's not. Stephen Pacey is known as the voice of First Law, and there is a particular reason for that. He is able to inject great humor into a very bleak, dark, kind of dark humor, dark fantasy, grim dark, whatever you want to call the First Law. Stephen Pacey just makes it feel grimy. He makes you feel like you're in this city with Galacta in the torture dungeons, or like just walking by the docks. Maybe floating down by the docks. You never know. But yeah, Stephen Pacey is just, I have to mention him. Even if First Law isn't my favorite series, I have to respect Stephen Pacey's performance and the characters that Joe Abercrombie has created within this series. Oh, beautiful. Awesome experience. I highly recommend First Law on audio. Next up, this isn't going to surprise anybody. This is probably one of my top 2 favorite narrators and authors. Now, who am I talking about? Well, of course, I'm talking about Travis Baldree as the narrator, but we're talking Cradle here. I'm holding up Dread God because the way I stack Cradle, the book's all the way at the bottom. I don't want to dig it out. You're getting Dread God. So, anyway, Travis Baldree does something for Cradle that is just very special. Now, I've listened to probably 5 or 6 different series narrated by Travis. They're all amazing. I think a lot of people struggle to get some of the humor that is within Cradle or to connect with the characters when they're only reading the physical book itself. Now, even then, they're still great experiences for me, and I would still highly recommend them. But Travis Baldree brings, just like to Ethan Aurelius or Lyndon or Yaren, he injects humanity and humor and tone and sarcasm. Like, you get anything that you might have missed contextually through Travis's performance. And I am going to honestly say that Travis probably adds a half star to a full star just off of his performance with these books. That's not to say that they're bad. They're just, he takes them from great to amazing. And so yes, Travis Baldree and the Cradle series. All right, next up, we have got Zach Argyle's Threadlight series, narrated by Adam Gold, because I love gold. Anyway, I'm never doing that again. Now I'm embarrassed. But yeah, Adam Gold has this voice that is basically like melted chocolate. Now, I believe what I've been told is Adam usually narrates romance, but he's just got this very rich and golden voice where he can go really low or he can kind of go light. And he just takes Chris and all of these characters and makes them come alive. Like, he just grabs your attention because you want to listen to Adam's voice. Frankly, like, I'm not going to lie, I got a man crush on Adam Gold's voice. Zach knows this, and frankly, now you do too. But I will not be apologetic because I could just listen to Adam Gold narrate books. And now he's going to be narrating another one of the series that I'm reading, and I'm very excited for those books. And yeah, like, the more Adam Gold that I can get, yes please. He just brings a little extra oomph to the Threadlight books. All right, next up, a series I haven't talked about in quite a while. We're going to do the Books of Babel by Josiah Bancroft. And the narrator for this one is John Banks. John Banks just brings Senlin alive. He brings the tower alive. He has a kind of softer, more proper voice, but at the same time, he can do quick transitions into violence and darkness and stuff like that, and he just makes you believe it. John Banks is already a top tier narrator. If you do a lot of narration and you've come across John Banks, I don't believe the man is capable of a bad performance, but I mean, what he does here with Senlin, like, to me, John Banks is Senlin. And it just, I don't know, a lot of people either love or you don't love the Books of Babel. Now, whatever you say about book 4, we're here about the performance and the quality. But I mean, I love the first 3 books of the Books of Babel. And the only reason I'm mad at book 4 is because it didn't go the way I wanted it to go. But that's neither here nor there. John Banks and his performance here within the Books of Babel, it's just, he does seedy really well. He does crazy really well. He does proper very well. He does going mad very well. His cadence is smooth. I mean, I love everything about what he did with the Books of Babel. Next up, we've got a little bit of historical fiction, and that is Bernard Cornwell's The Warlord Chronicles, narrated by Jonathan Keeble. Guys, Jonathan Keeble and what he does for Arthur and Durfel and Merlin and Gorfethid is frankly amazing. And not only is the name like Gorfethid something that you don't want to read, let Jonathan Keeble do it for you. He just brings a kind of madness to Merlin. He kind of does a little bit of a squeakier voice for Merlin, and like Durfel and all the warriors kind of get deep and gruff. And, you know, the female voices that he does are softer spoken with a nice, like, feminine edge to it. But, like, it's not like he's trying too hard. He's just like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. Do with it what you will. It's a great, great performance put out by Jonathan Keeble. All right, next up, we have got Kevin Kemp and a Tiago Abdallah's A Touch of Light. I already love A Touch of Light, so when I found out Kevin Kemp, who also narrated the fantastically underwhelming epic of a dead wizard and an average bard by Keon Ardelin, I don't own that one physically, so we're holding up A Touch of Light. But I really enjoyed that performance, especially his Samantia. And I think Kevin Kemp is the man of like 1,000 voices. He can do tons of different accents. He's very practiced. I've been on a live stream with Kevin Kemp to promote the audiobook of this one coming out, and it was a lot of fun. I got to watch him do a live in-person reading, and I got to watch in real time as Kevin Kemp can just change accents. It's magical, it's breathtaking, and frankly, I cannot wait to get more Kevin Kemp books on my belt. But guys, Tiago, SPF BO8 finalist, so again, that should tell you that this book is quality, and then Kevin Kemp just takes it that notch further. Please check that one out. Now, we've got 2 more books to talk about here, and we're going to go a little bit into horror with Stephen King's It. This one is narrated by, I believe it's Steven Weber? Yeah, Steven Weber is the name of that narrator. And guys, two things, okay? Fantastic performance. I mean, mind-blowing. Like, hi-ho silver, hooray! I mean, it's so good. That said, listen to this one with headphones. I mean, this is set in the 50s. There's a lot of racism within the story, and so if this is not something you want to listen to in the car, with people in the car with you, because you will get side eyes, because my wife did it to me. She's just like, what are you listening to? It's like, it's Stephen King's It. It's period correct. Like, this is what Stephen King does. I just want to put that disclaimer there before you go and listen to it and be like, that book has a potty mouth. Well, yes, it does. But guys, I mean, what can I say about it other than it's pretty much a masterpiece of horror and coming of age. One of the best books I have read within the last year, and just fantastic characters, fantastic villain, fantastic character jumping, fantastic town in Derry, Maine. I love it. I absolutely love it. That leaves us with one last book. And I decided to go for this one, Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio, narrated by Samuel Rukin. And Samuel Rukin, I believe, is a stage performer. Like, he does stage acting and stuff like that. But, I mean, just such a range of performance. He does melodrama very well. He does dramatic. He does combat. He does frenetic pacing. He can do everything like prim, proper, like galactic emperors and stuff like that. Like, just Samuel Rukin took Sun Eater and then just notched it up. Just took it to that next level. Just, boop, turn of the crank one notch higher, in my opinion. I cannot wait for Ashes of Man to come out, because then I can just do a Samuel Rukin marathon Sun Eater of Kingdoms of Death and Ashes of Man. I cannot wait. It is a quality performance, and frankly, I think more people should be consuming Sun Eater in general. Now, that said, guys, this is not the end-all, be-all list. Of course, there are a ton more narrators I want to talk about. I am thinking of doing an episode 2 of this. Let me know in the comments down below if that is something you would be interested in, because I would love to do another 10 here for you. A part 2, if you will. That said, guys, that is really all I have got here for you today. So till next time, peace out. Stay magical. Bye. And as always, I want to give a special thank you to my patrons.